You are probably keeping your best data to yourself, but in this video I'm going to tell you why sharing your hash rates will help you improve your income. Welcome, my name is Seth Estrada. If you're watching this video, it's probably on my YouTube channel, Seth Estrada, and I wanted to share something that I've been working on for just a short time, or I guess a little longer than a short time, but share with you something that's really been at the top of my mind, forefront of my thoughts lately, and that is submitting optimized hash rates for aging hardware. As you know, GPUs are hard to come by. If you wanted to get a GTX 1080 Ti, brand new in box today, you'd have a really hard time finding it at MSRP. And if you wanted to get anything from AMD, the RX Vega 5664 or Frontier Edition, yeah, there we go, said it right this time, yes, Frontier Edition, you would have a hard time finding them in stock, even though the video that I submitted the other day, the Frontier Edition, I still stand by it, is the best kept secret in GPU computing and in gameplay for Q1 of 2018. However, they have become hard to find as well because enterprising young individuals have snapped them up, apropos of my recommendation. And I suggest that you do the same. But if you have any older hardware, then the best way to hash more today is to optimize your settings. So, with that in mind, I've created a Google form. It's very informal, but it goes through several questions that you can answer. I don't want to go through any kind of hippy-dippy concept like karma or like mindset, but what I will say is that when you are thinking about these things in a more in-depth way, you wind up coming up with solutions. Further, if you are not sure how to optimize your settings, there may be somebody else who submits their info here that gives you an idea of how to do so. Here's what it'll look like after you've already submitted your info. You'll be able to tell which brand card you're rating, which sub-brand that is. As you know, MSI, Asus, Gigabyte, and several others, EVGA included, have several sub-brands. So you may purchase an MSI card, but it may be rebranded MSI Seahawk, or MSI Armor, or MSI Aero, or Aero ITX. And so all of that is available here as an option. So we'll get a chance to see exactly how many of each card is being rated for hash rate here in this form. And that's available to you after you submit your info. But sub-brand, of course, the chipset, if that isn't already automatically spit you out to the correct chipset, then I'll just ask you in this form. But it should be able to guess based on the brand and sub-brand exactly which type it is. For example, the MSI Seahawk edition cards are all NVIDIA. So if you've answered that question, then it'll bring you right over to the NVIDIA section here, NVIDIA chipset, where you can choose exactly which one you have. Now, I've got for AMD, I've got the R9 200 series here, Fury, all the way through Vega, but it will allow you to submit cards clear back to the R5 and R7 series cards, even the 77 through 7900 series cards. Same with NVIDIA, goes back a few generations. So if you have older cards, you can submit your info here, and goes down through cooling, either air, hybrid, or liquid, and then current hash rates that you're getting for your card. And it should give you an idea right here as you go through all those different algorithms. If you're interested in one in particular, you can find it here. And then, of course, a notes section where I've done the first entry here and made a note that the BIOS has been modded to mine NeoScript, because the card that I did this info for, submitted this info for, did not initially have that capacity to mine NeoScript. But NeoScript, as you know, is a pretty important algorithm in 2018. So, all right, that is the form in a nutshell. Again, what you'll see is right here. This is the very first screen that you'll see. Submit your GPU hash rates. It'll ask you for your email address. Why? Here's why. First, it'll email you, this is Google Docs after all, it'll email you a copy of your responses. Also, if you're logged into the account that you used to submit this in the first place, then you can edit those responses at any time. As before, you noticed right here all these different algorithms. If you don't have this info off the top of your head, then you may need to go back to edit your responses. And it would be much better for you to just edit your initial response than to submit a new response, if that makes sense. All right, tabbing back over, it just asks you very simply, which brand are you rating? This is not an exhaustive list. There may be other brands that just are no longer on the market, or that you may have that just aren't listed here. If so, I apologize in advance, but what I will say is that this represents 95% of what's being used, or if not more, what's being used to mine cryptocurrency in early 2018. So if your card isn't listed here, I apologize, but I'm probably not going to add anything else to that list. Top of the list is MSI, of course, because by volume, MSI is one of the top sellers, as well as Asus, Gigabyte, and then NVIDIA Direct. EVGA, Zotac, PNY, all the way down to Lead Tech, which still exists and still sells some fairly modern GPUs. They might not this time next year, we'll see. But they still exist, they're still in the market, same with PowerColor. XFX is a popular brand carried by American retailers like Best Buy as well. So all of that is available there. As you go through, you'll be asked more questions, as you saw in the responses. If you haven't already done this, or you're just catching this for the first time, let me fade this in. I'd like you to submit your info at bit.ly/submit your hash rates and give the community some of the info that you've been sitting on in terms of hash rates. Now, if you don't have all the hash rates that I mentioned before, then that's just fine. Show us what you do have. But ideally, try to tell us about your ETH hash rate, as well as your Kryptonite, your Equihash, your Neoscript, and your Lyra 2 Rev 2. These are very important algorithms in terms of benchmarking against really popular coins. So if you can give those hash rates, that would be ideal. If you have all of the hash rates listed here, even better. But most of all, as long as they are optimized, that's what we're after. Now, the card that I first submitted doesn't actually hash, skunk hash. It will not allow you to add a perfect zero response, so you have to do something that's greater than zero. In this case, I put 0.00001. And you can do the same, or you can just leave it blank if you don't know it all, if you're not sure. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you this time. My name is Seth Estrada. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the bell so that you are notified of new videos as they're uploaded. And thank you so much for your support. If you haven't clicked on something down in the description, by all means do. What you'll find are links to the best prices on current GPUs that are being used for mining today. And guaranteed, it will always sort on Amazon to show you the lowest prices of what's currently available and what's currently shipping via Amazon Prime. So you'll get it fast, and you'll get it as cheap as the market will permit today, every time you click that link. So by all means, go take a look, see if there's something that you need there, and then also look at the mining parts that are listed below. Thank you for your support, love your face, and I'll see you in the next one.